Welcome back, guys. Round 12, the first major buy round in the season. Dude, it's been a crazy season all up, especially for drafters who may have thought things were going one way and they went another. So to make it to round 12 in one piece, and for somehow, I don't know how I'm top of the table of my comp, but I am. So just consider myself kind of lucky to a degree, but on the flip side, you do make your own luck. So today we're just going to quickly dive in and do our waiver advice, which we do through the form of going through the teams and the matchup. So you get both your matchup, sit start sort of guidance, as well as we touch on any waiver and free agency pickups for draft, and then I touch on like VCC if it's worthwhile mentioning. So it should be pretty quick tonight. I'm a bit late too. Most of you know from the community I was in hospital last week just getting some surgery done, and yeah, so today was pretty tough to try and get the logistics sorted to get in front of you on the camera, but I'm toughing it out. I'm going to smash this one out. I want to start with something that's really cool, but that there is a new feature in the Draft Oracle really quick. When you go into your dashboard to pick your leagues, there is now this thing called the Oracle News Network. It's where each week I show you 3 key things. So the first one is hot players of the round. So these guys are mostly at Origin, like Harry Grant or whatever, but these guys on the round are your key matchups. Jono's not there, unfortunately, but they're your top 10 players, whatever. So pretty cool stuff that you can kind of go through and see that. And then we have what top teams are running. This is the one, guys. This is it. This is like intra solution intelligence. So we're using all of the Draft Oracle drafters who are all switched on, like really competitive draft people that are trying their hardest. This tells you who they're running in their teams, which you can keep a track of. So owned in 16 top teams. That means across all the leagues that are logged in Draft Oracle, Isaiah Papali'i emerges as the most commonly owned player in the top 3 teams of all of the leagues in Draft Oracle, which there's 25 plus leagues in there. There's actually more than that. There's actually probably like 40 plus. So pretty cool insight that you can see like who they have in common in those top teams, which is sick. So you can kind of get a feel for like what stands out. That's the top 10 at the moment. And then something I'm working on, which is pretty cool, it looks decent to start with, it's a bit harder to get right, which is the stash players in top 4 teams that are being held that almost nobody else owns. So low ownership names that are being held in top 4 teams across leagues. So if you're not a Draft Oracle user, that's fine. You're getting a cheeky insight into like some of the cool stuff that is in the platform, and this is just a news bulletin, so each week this will refresh for you to see. But if you are a user, it has never been more important to update your league map and keep it current, because the league map, it drives these ownership values. So we get intra-solution ownership numbers besides the Supercoach numbers. We get to know, like within the Draft Oracle, what's going on, where people are really competitive and really diligent, whereas the Supercoach the Supercoach numbers are a bit skewed because people give up and do weird stuff with weird leagues there. So just the newest little feature, guys. I think this is so cool. This is only the tip of the iceberg in terms of analyzing what we already have in the platform, but just very cool to see. Oh wow, 13 teams in the the top 30 teams or more have David Fafita, Kai Pearce-Paul. So like Kai Pearce-Paul, Siwa, Wong, Isaiah Papali'i, they're your breakout guys that have led to success for teams, which is pretty clear sort of thing. So anyway, that's that. We'll get right into these team lists now and these matchups. So pumping through our matchups, just because it's a buy round, there's going to just be a leaner list. So Taines number 1, AKP number 1 on the left wing, Herbie left center, Garrick right center, Jerome Hughes in the halves. JFH stands out as the prop, but again, just with middles, guys, please don't overvalue it the way it works. It's it's not super reliable. It's not reliable. It doesn't really mean a lot. Gun middle forward matchups aren't really meaningful. Harry Grant, who's not there, so that's Trent Tollau, who just isn't the gun matchup because he doesn't quite have the he's just jumping off the back of Harry Grant's pedigree there, so ignore that one. Hudson Young's not there. Adam Mariota, again, ignore that. Hamole's not there, again, ignore that. And Morgan Smithies is actually Jaden Brayley. For the elite matchups, Clayton Faulolo looked really cool. I shouted him out 2 weeks ago, guys. 2 weeks ago he was mentioned in the the low ownership posts on Instagram, sc.draft.oracle on Instagram. So if you followed that and stashed him like I did in the community league, you got the benefit this week when he went 120. So yeah, talented kid. Selwyn's not there, so that's Tavita Nafahu. You can go for that. Latrell Sigwalt, again, you can go for that. He's leveraging the back of Latrell, so I wouldn't really rely on it too heavily. But with outside backs, sometimes it is meaningful and it is something worth having a stab at. And he looked pretty good, and he did goal kick that time. Whether he goal kicks over Ashton Ward, I can't tell you that. Bostock retains and remains. DWZ is there again and looks like a good one, a great plug and play, guys, if he's available, which he should be in a handful of leagues. Jamal Fogarty, Tarpanay, Reid Marnie, Connelly, Ewan Aitken. Ewan Aitken's been hitting some upside, which is super hard to believe, but it's true. He hasn't done that in a while, so credit to people that got on. Aaron Clark there, yeah, he could have a field day, man, Aaron Clark. But they might be due for early showers if they dominate the Wars, even though they do have a bye round 14, so not far away. Defensive weakness, I'll let you guys pause and zoom in on that if you're interested. Just make it a little bit bigger, sorry fam. Jumping into game one, just if you're on a time crunch, Dane Laurie there. Forget where he's actually eligible at, but he's worth a plug and play. But I do suspect the Finns will be pretty decent here. Trai Fuller, he's definitely a top waiver. Obviously, more of a short-term play, but for some people that could be really valuable. If you are the Hammer owner, then obviously he is even more valuable as he poses like more value long-term as opposed to just short-term. On the other side, this is just like I'd be firing up most guys in this. Sort of even like the Raiders aren't. I mean, they've lost their sort of back rowers, but they're not completely. This might be one of the better games of the round. They're not completely sort of without anything there to run off. Like, they've got a lot of their big names there with Tarpanay, Weeks here at the back. They've got Xavier Savage coming back in and that sort of thing. So, yeah, like. They're not too depleted, the Raiders. Whereas on the other side, this is actually JMK, I just realised. So on the other side, they've got a big setup here, the Finns. They're missing a couple guys like Plathy and Hammer, but they should still look pretty good with their spine, apart from Nicarima. Their spine's relatively intact with JMK back, and Fuller's quite good out the back. So yeah, expecting a really interesting game here, and I'd be happy to start Raiders even in this one. Not that the Finns have been that great defensively, apart from last weekend they were good, but yeah, I'd be going for that. So we did touch on, I think even Jaden Brayley, and a plug and play in super deep leagues. Hosking is a ticket, I think. I think he'll get a good bit of run here, so he's definitely a guy, has good buy coverage. I'm not sure if he'll play left or right. I assume it'll be right. Has a tough matchup, but I'm not over investing into that tough matchup there. Like, I'm not giving it too much credit. Doesn't look, it's more that position that's struggled with like injuries and stuff, dropping out of that score and whatnot. Who else in this one just before we move on? No one. I touched on Laurie, yeah, cool, and Fuller. Melbourne here, like the big names. Cooper Clark getting a lock spot at front row, eligible, definitely an FRF2. Great guy just to kind of plug in and hope he hits upside, especially on a week like if you're playing buys and you just need the numbers to count. Satilli keeps doing it. He'd be owned now, but if he's not, definitely someone to consider as an FRF2. There's been a bit of shuffles in the background. Jacob Carraz, he won't be out there, but if he is, grab him, and that's just not normal if he is, but if he is, definitely jump on. From a Storm side, I'd need to see more from Moses Leo and whatnot before I put too much energy into them. I would ignore Trent Tolau's matchup here entirely. Don't put any stock into that. But yeah, I'd be firing up my Melbourne players with relative confidence. Even Nick Meaney and Howarth, yeah, like there's no Crichton there for the Dogs, so I think that's I think Sua's come over this side on the right wing, and I think Tuala's gone into here, which is annoying that even though I just did this, my engine doesn't always like pull the names in straight away, which is pretty annoying. Even though I update the back end, it's a lot of mucking around. I don't think there's anyone in this that was super relevant to me. I just double check all my bits. We mentioned Cooper Clark and Toops. That's really it. This is probably the big one. We'll just get straight to it. Like, what is Te Maire Martin like in terms of a waiver? Look, there's every chance he's a 2 week play and Metcalf's back and they do that sort of thing. But I mean, Metcalf's on the way out, injury prone guy. TMM is a veteran. He'll be needed. They need a win. If they keep winning, I think like his performance it's just maybe that his performances dictate sort of his role. Last year, I remember there was a bit of like toing and froing with the TMM, Metcalf, Boyd like whole thing, and we thought TMM had earned it, and they sort of went with Boyd, and so TMM like in his veteran status didn't really get the run I thought he'd get last year. And I think it was either a bit last year or the year before where his scores were incredible when he did slot in, and then we saw on the weekend he came in and dropped an 80 there against the Broncos. So like we've seen these spine players, again, if he goal kicks, which he probably does, they're just benefiting under this sort of momentum-based game. And then you look at St George as well. Like I think even on waiver and he plays 1 to 2 weeks, it's probably worth it given the matchup here against the Dragons. But just know what you're getting into, and I think this is probably a good time if you're needy, especially Boyd owners without a doubt, and people that have their halves going off like Dearden or halves going off to Origin for extended periods of time. I think, I think Te Maire Martin's number one for sure, and don't really have any hesitation. I just want to be clear that there's a small risk there, but it's just one you go for, right? It's just like, yeah, it's just like when Trai Fuller was playing centre, you went for it and you missed out, but there could have been something there, and you have to take those risks. For the Dragons, we even see this isn't Setu 2. I think he'll be like over here, Setu 2, and that's actually Jaden Sewer, who I don't know what's going on there. But Dylan Egan, I've been mentioning him for a couple of weeks, along with Faulolo. Again, just keep getting on till he delivers. The minutes are somewhat promising. He was brilliant in PPM last year and in Cup and whatever, so he can turn it on. It's just a matter of time. The team's just pretty bad, obviously. There's no Ali Tower. I've put in the post too. Like I do a post on Instagram and Twitter, like the ownership guys. I get that out pretty early, generally on a Tuesday. It's not really necessarily always related to team lists, so I just get it out there in case people are busy and whatever. It helps them see. But Ali Tower, I think, given the matchup, like he's definitely a go. Like I wouldn't burn a massive ticket on him, but he's someone that I would consider. And if you could just get him off freeze rotationally, like, dude, the conceding metric there at 70 is like pretty crazy. Like it should be gold for the back line, like AKP if he's out there. If someone dropped AKP off the 2, if they drop him in the morning, like if someone waivers, and just keep an eye on AKP, see if you can get him on freeze like a bit later if he gets punted, because like no one wants him after a -1, but like the matchup and what he did before that was pure gold. So yeah, any warrior, get him rolling. That's not Kirk Capewell, that's Jacob Laban for this week. Lecker's a start in this, obviously. I mean, you're starting anyone if you got him, if you're playing buys, right? Because, you should be limited on numbers, so you just get him and go, and you just hope for the best in these buy rounds, fundamentally. Like, that's sort of what it comes down to. Yeah, I think that's that one. Manly, we've spoken about Clayton Faulolo. You can grab him. It's just shorter term. Like Tommy will be back. It's round 12. He'll be back 15, 16, he said. Best case 14, but they wouldn't rush him. Not with that hammy. Not with the way they've got depth there. That's not cooler, by the way. That'll be someone else on the wing. I think they got someone... Oh, I'd have to bring up the NRL page for that one. I've done the update and it just doesn't want to play ball, which is super annoying. So they've got it as, Blake Wilson. I was never going to remember that. Blake Wilson, not rushing to get him because Lehigh's out. And then Josh Felaherty, who I don't know really much about, but I'm not too red hot on either of those guys. I wouldn't sweat it. Who else is in this one? Just checking my notes here. Yeah, no, I think because we spoke about him. Yep. No, that's it. Arama Howe's back named. Again, he's a luxury waiver wire, luxury stash type guy, just to see if he keeps the spot. But then remember, like the big thing I've been saying in the Discord to my guys in the community is Jaden Campbell's now on the left, and Jaden Campbell was putting Arama through all those holes that made him like relevant. Not that Zane Harrison can't do it, but it won't be as prolific enough, and then I don't think the base will be there enough. So I just think maybe put your energy elsewhere. With Arama Howe as a ticket, I wouldn't burn a high one on him. He's so tempting. He was a big FOMO thing, and then he had a bit of classic hype. The other guy is Jason Saab. Again, it's one of those weekends where you just throw stuff and see what happens, but don't waiver for him. But yeah, he's another guy you could potentially go. If Ben Trbojevic gets dropped or something, he's a guy you could go just to kind of see again if see what sticks if in this matchup against like the Titans who are missing Tino. On the Titans side, if Mofop might get minutes to make him like startable and get you a 50, but you're definitely not wavering for that, and I definitely don't love it. But yeah, get me off that game. One in this is Latrell Sewald. I think like it might not be the exact perfect week for him, but I think like don't waver for him, but you could do worse than him. If like they've got Cody, they've got Jai, they've got enough of their forwards, like because Keon won't go off to Origin, Cam Murray will, but like they could put up a decent. And then you've got like Queensland missing Did and Cotter, like that's a lot of their heart they're missing. It could be a good one for Latrell Sewald, but again, that's just deep league stuff. Like just if you're sort of desperate. Jai Gray has yet to sort of spark it up after coming back, or he's only really been back for 2 weeks, I think. Just disappointing people that stashed him to sort of do a job over Origin. It's a bit annoying if he's not going to even do that. Derby comes in, not too phased there. Talmalolo, he could do a job, which hurts McKaylee, who I liked. They're both sort of interchangeable. Like they both like can randomly hit good PPM, but I'm not break my back over them. From a team that's not on here, it might be a week to look at stashing Kautoga if you're needy in 2RF. I just saw him on my list. I want to quickly jump on him. I didn't mention Schneider in the Finns game, but he's startable in a pinch, maybe a try assist to Herbie or to Kennelly, again in a pinch, like if you're desperate. But yeah, it's looking pretty grim. I sort of didn't really touch on the matchups as much as I sort of wanted, but it's basically like Manly, Warriors, Melbourne, Dolphins is probably the go. This one's a coin toss to me. Like you and Aitken, Lukey, all that's all good. It's pretty self-explanatory this weekend. There shouldn't be too many start sits. If you do have specific start sits and you want me to like look a bit deeper into it or trade, I can always look at like the forecast, which sort of looks out at 3 games, like a look ahead little app that kind of basically looks at these matchups and then forecasts the next 2 rounds and how they're kind of tracking against those matchups. So just gives you, maybe if you're looking to compare trade-ins, it's always a good one. So yeah, that's it. That's going to do it. I'll just keep it short and sweet. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to touch on. Oh yeah, I'll quickly just touch on some accuracy numbers. So overall model 56%, which is totally fine. Again, anything too high and I'm being too lenient, anything too low and I'm either being too harsh or the model's not really doing much. These are also actuals, like the matchup forecast is just taking like what we already have in hand. There's not any prediction in it. It's just saying like this guy is versing like a weak defense and scores at X rate, therefore it ranks him higher. So that it's just math kind of thing. So someone in a Discord was saying, oh, it's sus. It's not sus, it's just mathematics and then how you like apply it, which again, once I explained it, I hope he understood. So it's not for everyone is probably even a better way to say it. Like this is just, as I say, every single week, this is just part of a decision-making process. Is pretty interesting. The accuracy trend, yeah, it's sort of kind of good and bad. What's really the most valuable thing is this, which is the upside tier confidence. So the guns, the elites and the favourables, as you can see here, 67, 57 and 51 are on our like grouped up 61% accurate. The best way to say that is it's a strong signal. It doesn't like mean a heap, but it's a great signal. And what I want this engine to do, this matchup mod. Sorry, I just paused when I switched between the tabs. It's not saying do or don't do something necessarily. It's more like indicative, or it's an assisting decision-making piece, because black and white stuff in NRL, I've always said that since day one of releasing this model last year when I did a different sort of version of it. This is a more mature version of it. It's just to give you confidence in what you're doing or to help see a different side of the coin. It's not to replace or be black and white your own decision making type thing. Like, I think once you see it as that, it's meant to be fun, it's meant to be interesting, it's meant to be unique. Like, no one presents it in this way or does this where there is a blend and it's not pure just defensive gaps, which is like, oh, these guys are really bad, so this guy will go good. Well, it's like, no, actually he needs to be half decent. And the other thing with the accuracy is it's important to note that, like, you don't want to, like, just sit players if it's tough or avoid, right? Like, not immediately. You just want to set expectations. And then if you have two players where one's like avoid and one's elite, then maybe it helps you go, oh, well, I was leaning this way and now I've got this data behind the decision. I'm going to go that way and blah, blah, blah. So I think if you are just a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more used to talking about data and understanding data and just kind of seeing that this for what it is, it's awesome and very cool and helpful and makes it super fun managing multiple teams and classics and trade-in decisions based on matchups. But if you're calling it sus, then you're not quite like grasping what it is, and that's fine too, because again, it's not for everyone. So I post it onto YouTube or whatever for free, this component of what I do. There's a lot I do that isn't for free, and that's fine, for you to take it or leave it. So, like, I know some people, like, it helps. I don't post it and say, like, this is facts, or this is like, must do, this is information you must action or must take, like, dude, last week, like, I post the accountability post more often on Instagram than I posted on Twitter, to be fair, and I post, like, the hits and the misses according to kind of like their average, which isn't really exactly how the engine calculates it, but I can't give everything away or it wouldn't be my work, would it? And a lot of misses. The guns, there was only 3 guns out of, like, the 16 or whatever it is last week. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, sorry, out of 11. Only 3 hit. Like, it was a bad week for the engine overall, which hurt the accuracy. But a lot of the tough and avoid stuff was accurate. So the overall model kind of, like, didn't take a huge hit, but my upside calls, like the guns and the elites, they took a big hit. So, which is fine, because, like, I'm not married to the outcomes. I'm not emotional to these calls. It's just my data. What I am emotional to is probably, like, the proprietary component of what happens in the background and the way it's, like, the way it looks and feels, which is really cool, which is mine. So anyway, just wanted to touch on that toward the end here. But you got your waiver advice earlier. Guys we spoke about last week didn't hit Cooper By, Thomas McHaley, sorry team if you got on them, but a lot of guys have hit, such as Ollie Pascoe, which were quite early on, Bostock we were super early on, and Clayton Faulolo we were early on. So yeah, anyway, good luck this weekend, your matchups and your trades and whatnot.